Same team. We on the same team. All right, y'all. It's real life.
Real issues.
Real engagement.
Real answers.
To some real married people stuff.
Have you heard?
Marriage is work. There's a lot of expectations that come in.
To become the husband that they expect us to be.
People expect to have this knight in shining armor.
He wants to deceive the elect and make you believe.
But in the end, you gotta realize that
Hey, we're fighting on the same team.
fighting on the same team. The same team, not against each other.
Yeah.
He may devour. Wake up, hear the voice of God calling.
Hey, welcome. Welcome, y'all. We are live. Welcome to Unscripted.
Marriage?
Unscripted?
Marriage.
Unscripted.
Marriage.
That's right. It's real talk, real life, real answers to some real married people
stuff.
So we just want you guys to like us on Facebook.
Yes.
Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
And our likes are like creeping up there. So if you could right now hit the share button, share this with someone who needs to listen to Unscripted Marriage. So go ahead and share. Like our page, join our group, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, because we're having fun on there, and YouTube called us and told us that we have a max because we're so popular.
That's right.
Yeah, so because we're so popular that we got a cut off on how many subscribers. So you may want to get in there when you can get in there.
It's overloaded.
Yes.
It's overloaded. So you're special because you get to get in on the beginning of the subscriptions.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get to get in on the beginning of the subscriptions.
Subscribes below or
because
up
if
or
you don't,
to the side.
then we're gonna have so many subscribers that it's gonna like reach the it's gonna overload
the umpteenth power.
Yeah,
there we go. But hey, we would love you guys to come and just vibe with us, have fun with us, do some unscripted marriage stuff with us, comment, all that kind of good stuff.
Yep.
We want you to be there as we're in there conversating with you. So now.
So last week our episode was back to the beginning. Raise your hand if you watched that. Actually, comment right there in the comments if you watched that. And if you did, you had homework.
Yes.
Did you do your homework?
I did.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you did your homework, we would love to hear about it.
Yes.
You can send us a message or you can put the comments below. What did you do? The question, the actual homework was to do something that takes you back to the beginning, that surprise your spouse.
Yes, babe. Surprised.
You're trying to teach me how to talk.
Surprise. Okay, sorry, go.
Surprise your spouse, or you should have surprised your spouse with something that you did way back in the beginning, and that was the question. So that was the homework. So hopefully you did it. Every single week we're going to be giving out homework and challenges that you and your spouse can do.
Yes.
So at the end of this episode, you'll get another challenge.
Yes. So you have to be able to make sure that you keep up because the challenges are coming quick, but it's going to be healthy for your marriage. It's going to be fun for your marriage.
Yeah.
And if you do the homework, which I didn't, you will make sure that I'm just being well. Okay. So what happened was.
See what had happened.
Yeah, I had some schedule changes, and so preparing for this, show to give you all this good material and content.
Yeah.
I just got a little back behind.
Don't let your spouse give you excuses for why they didn't do the homework.
That's a further episode. Yeah, we're not getting
Anyway,
there. Okay,
our topic for today, we are going to talk about our top-rated question, our top-rated comment.
Yes.
Of the week.
Yes, comment, yes.
Our top-rated comment of the week was a comment by, let's see if I can pull this up real quick. A comment by one of our Facebook friends. Mm-hmm. And the comment was... Okay, keep talking while I find it.
Something good. It's coming. Yeah, so it was something good, and you know.
Well, what's the topic of today? What's our
okay?
Topic?
So I'll talk about the topic.
Oh, the topic. Okay. We'll talk about the topic. Okay.
Are we talking about the topic? Or are we talking about the homework?
Our topic for today, before we tell you give you the top rated comment, is what did you
expect?
What did you
expect?
What did you
expect?
What did you expect when you first got married?
So,
what were some expectations that you had, and what did you expect when you first got married?
So we want to talk about like those things that you kind of came into the marriage with, just thinking like, oh man, she's going to do this, he's going to do that, and just because maybe you may have seen it before, or this is something that you always wanted your spouse to do. These are just the expectations that you had, and so we want to make sure that we want to kind of visit that and talk about that, get your comments, get your feedback about that, because this is going to be an awesome show. Because, you know, we always have, and we always think that these expectations are, oh, well, they already know what
they already know what I want.
They already know what I want.
It's already, they can read my mind.
Yeah. Actually talking about it, reading your mind. Remember you told me that you could read my mind? So LaWanda, she gave me like these 5 numbers one time, and then she said, guess which one it is. And she told me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick this number, and she guessed it. And then from then on, I didn't even think anything.
He thought I could really read his mind.
Yeah. So when I was thinking
about, it was a math trick.
Yeah. So when I was thinking about something nasty, and then looked at her, and then she looked at me funny, and I was like, oh snap. Let me think about reading scriptures or something like that.
Anyway, okay.
Okay, sorry.
I'm ready for the top rated comment.
Okay, sorry. Go.
It up. Okay, so the top rated comment comes from Kimmy Nola. And Kimmy Nola says, expecting perfection inevitably leads to disappointment. Mm-hmm. A more realistic goal for husbands and wives to work. A more realistic goal is for husbands and wives to work. Learn and grow together. And that is so true, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yes, because, you know, we want to work together and to say, okay, and communicate our expectations.
Right. We have to communicate them because you can't read my mind. And I can't read your mind.
You can't?
So if we're going on and there's something that's bothering me and I'm a little quiet or whatever, I know you can't read my mind. I have to open up and communicate with you, and likewise. Mm-hmm. So what were some expectations you had for me when we first got married?
So we're gonna do improv, right? I'm gonna just improv this thing, right?
We already improved it.
We did?
What are you talking about?
Oh, we did?
Oh, we did?
No, we didn't.
We didn't? Oh.
Okay, so let's do it. So I'm improving, all right? Whew, man, hard day's work. I'm so excited that my wife is gonna have that food cooked, broccoli, steak, Kool-Aid, all that kind of stuff. And house gonna be clean, and then dessert afterwards. I just can't wait.
Hello, hey girl, how you doing? Yes, I got my feet up. I'm watching Netflix, chilling, girl. Yes. Oh, let me tell you about what them kids did today. Oh, hold on, wait. I think Darren's coming in. Let me see if that's him.
Hey, babe.
Oh, hey, boo. Oh, girl, I gotta go. Yeah.
You, clothes on the floor.
Yes, and?
Oh, okay. So. Okay, all right, sorry. Oh man, I just got dizzy just now. Oh, man, I'm hungry. You got you got some food in the oven?
I thought you was bringing some food home.
Oh,
You ain't bring no food home?
You didn't call me and tell me.
You didn't pick up nothing on the way home?
Well, I assumed that you was going to cook. Because remember I had brought groceries this weekend, so I thought you was going to cook them so we can eat. You know what I'm saying? Okay, sorry. Let's be serious, babe. All right, so.
Man, them kids ate all them groceries.
What? They cooked them too?
Yeah, you need to go get something to eat because we hungry. We all hungry. You hungry too?
Yeah, I was hungry when I decided not to get nothing to eat on the ride home because I assumed. All right, well, okay, I'll order something. Let me go think about it right fast.
Yeah,
we'll go up to the bathroom. All right.
Okay.
Oh, there's no toilet paper in here. What's going on, man? Hey, babe.
Yeah.
There ain't no toilet paper in here. Did you, can you get me some, please?
You need to pick up some of that on when you go out to get some food.
Well,
we ran out.
Oh, snap. Well, I'm a little stuck right now. Can you give me a substitute?
So he came in with all these expectations that I was gonna cook every single night, that the house was gonna be spick and span, that everything was gonna be like in order, in shape, all that. Go ahead, talk about it. Talk about it. Why don't you talk about it?
So my expectations of how I was feeling is that she was not technically a stay-at-home mom. She had a home business. Let's put it like that.
I had a home daycare.
Home business.
And I had kids in the house from the wee hours of the morning until late at night.
So the downstairs, I mean, it was good. I mean, everything was clean, but it was just like there was expectations like, oh man, well, she's at home, you know what I'm saying? So she's at home. So now, obviously, I'm thinking she's going to have food, you know what I'm saying? The house is going to be clean, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it was almost like, so my wife because we had the daycare downstairs, it was fine downstairs. It was almost like friendly waters upstairs, but then when you go upstairs, it was almost like you had to be like a Navy SEAL to get through everything.
Oh, really?
So it was like,
Wow,
crazy terrain. So it was like, It was wild upstairs. I mean, it was almost like I wanted to live downstairs. I almost wanted to be a daycare. I wanted to be a daycare kid because I was like, man. I
treat you like a daycare kid if you wanted to.
Well, sometimes I ate like a daycare kid. I had cheese and milk and crackers. And I was like, man, you know, I'm a grown, but I'm eating daycare food. I mean, but okay, we go on that expectations, you know.
Ravioli.
Yeah, ravioli, and then all my food had to be approved by the state. I'm like, goodness gracious, I just want to eat chicken. That's all, you know. But anyway, so moving on. So that was some of our expectations of, you know, just being the husband and those different things, and just want to kind of just talk about some of the expectations that men have is that, you know, we just want to be respected. We just want to be revered. We want to, you know, have our ego pumped or whatever because we want to be the big man on campus.
That's
we want to be our
to
spouses,
y'all.
our wives. We want to be our wife's hero.
Yeah.
And so anything contrary to that, you know, we break down, we get frustrated, we do all those things. I know I do. You know, I highly expect my wife to do certain things as far as build me up, give me confidence and different things like that. So when that stuff doesn't happen, you know, I'm feeling like I'm doing something wrong. I'm feeling incompetent, like as if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. So my expectation for you is when we first got married. Oh, by the way, if you're just tuning in, we are Unscripted Marriage, and we're talking today about expectations. What did you expect from your spouse when you first got married? So my expectation from that I had was that, okay, yes, you swept me off my feet. I was like all in the honeymoon stages and like loving and butterflies and just bliss. But what I was expecting along with that was some communication from you. That was a big expectation. So if something was going on or I needed him to make a decision on something, he would just yes me. Oh yes, it's fine. Yes boo, yes boo, yes boo. And I'm like, okay, can you give me some input on this? Can you communicate? Can we work together on this thing? And that didn't happen. That communication was just stopped. Like it was like shut down for some reason.
Yeah, so and so I'm not speaking for all husbands or for all men out there, but for my experience or for when we both got married, we didn't have a lot of marriages around us where I could be coached as far as, you know, how to be a husband, the expectations, all the other kind of stuff. And so, you know, I've really never had to communicate because I was, you know, I mean, we communicated in the military, but we didn't, other than that, I mean, it was like, I realized that my wife wanted details. And so for me to be able to explain the story, it almost became like, okay, well, babe, how was your day? It was great. Well, what was great about it? I clocked in, got paid for 8 hours, and I'm come home now. You know what I'm saying? So that was my story, but she wanted details. And so it was frustrating at first because I really didn't know how to remember all that stuff, first of all, and then how to communicate that back to you. So initially, I started actually taking notes and writing throughout all my day.
That was an unrealistic expectation that I had for you because females talk all the time. They talk so much more than guys, and I was expecting that type of communication. So if something happened on that day, I wanted to run down about how it happened, when it happened, all that. And that was really unrealistic because guys don't communicate like that. And I held him to that standard, like, you're going to communicate with me. You're going to tell me everything. Mm-hmm. And that was just a unrealistic thing that I had. The same with me cleaning the house and cooking every night and making sure everything. That was an unrealistic expectation.
Right.
Because of the job field that I was in.
Yeah, well, when the shoe was on the other foot.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
About that.
Yeah, and so when I realized how tiring it was. Oh, what?
So when he had to fill in for me, we had an in-home daycare. So when he had to fill in, we had first, second, and third shift. So I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't have kids leave some days until they wouldn't even leave. It would be overlap. First shift, second shift, third shift. And so sometimes I had kids overnight. But when he had to fill in for me just for a little 8-hour period, a little 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, when he had to fill in and I had to go somewhere and go out, by the time I got back there, he was exhausted.
Yeah, it was
exhausted.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was like a war zone in there, and you appreciate that kind of stuff, and there's something to say about at-home businesses and different things like that. That I appreciated it when I went through there, and so I did appreciate you after I kind of went through that experience when I started working it with you, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the fact was I just wanted my cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? So and with all that stuff, I wanted to I don't know, just all that stuff. I wanted all. I wanted you to cook, clean, give it to me when I wanted it, all that kind of stuff. I wanted all that stuff, not realizing that it took, you doing that whole thing all day, kind of tired you out.
I think people hold people to these high expectations that they can't reach. These things that I want you to reach. This is who I want you to be. This is where I want you to be. But you're not there yet, or you haven't reached that, or they hold them to those expectations, and it's unfair. Mm-hmm. It's really unfair. And our spouse is not God. Our spouse cannot fulfill every single need or expectation that we have.
Yeah, and yeah, what you said. I mean, I agree.
You agree?
I agree. I mean, because there's really nothing I have to add to it.
I don't know if that's true, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good. But, it is true because, we offer ourselves grace all the time, when we mess up and when we want to take a break and all that kind of stuff because we know what we're going through. But we don't necessarily allow them same grace. We don't allow that same grace to our spouse because we're not looking at it from their perspective. And I think once we actually are able to do that, like once I started working the daycare with her and actually letting her get some sleep while I did the daycare, I realized that, it was tiring. And it is tough to be able to do all those different things that I expected from her. So it is all about perspective and kind of learning where your spouse is coming from, and then you'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it more.
Yeah.
When you do those different type of things.
So, well, what we said was our own opinion. His take, my take. So we actually have the Marriage Healing Center that we're going to bring on, Beverly Booth, and she's going to talk a little bit about expectations and the real deal with expectations. Mm-hmm. And she's going to kind of wrap this whole segment up for us. And so Beverly is getting ready to come on in just a moment, so take a look, okay?
Sometimes couples have unrealistic expectations for their marriage. They think their marriage can survive without doing the work. One example for your relationship that many couples have is they think that their partner or their spouse must make them whole. Well, when you think about that, how do you actually have a relationship thinking that someone can make you whole without really looking at yourself and examining whether or not you are whole? you have to actually feel good about yourself, love yourself, to be able to fully connect with somebody else. You cannot expect them to make you feel whole on the inside. A second thing you have to think about is whether you're thinking that your partner must know what you want without telling them what you want. So sometimes you think, I've been married for a long time, they should know exactly what I'm thinking, what I want, without telling them what I want. And sometimes, when you begin to think, okay, they don't know what I want after all these years, that is not a great idea. You have to be able to speak your mind, because your partner or your spouse is not a mind reader. So you have to be able to say to them, I would like you to take out the trash for me tonight. I would like you to spend more time with me. I would like you to be able to tell me I love you. So those are really important things to remember, that they don't read your mind. The next thing you got to think about is understanding that conflict happens, and you have to remember that when there's conflict, it's okay. Don't think that we should never have conflict in a relationship, because conflict is growth waiting to happen. When you have conflict, you learn to deal with it, and you actually learn to grow through it. So you have to actually walk in it. And don't think that because there's conflict, it's going to turn out bad. Because that's oftentimes in our minds, that when there's conflict, there's going to be a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, we're not going to get through it. But really, when you learn that to be able to talk through and work through conflict will help you grow, that will actually strengthen your marriage and also strengthen you as well. The other thing that you got to think about is you're thinking that the physical and the emotional connection will just happen. It will never change. Well, you know what? It does change over time. So, when you first met and you were together, maybe you were together all the time. Maybe you were having fun all the time. Maybe you were intimate all the time. However, you have to remember that when children come and when different things happen in life, things will change. So you have to be able to understand that when things begin to change, you have to really stop and talk about it, and to really look at what it is that you want. And don't think that because things are changing, that you guys are not going to be okay. The other unrealistic expectation is thinking that you're going to have this fairy tale marriage, that you're not going to go through trials, you're not going to go through struggles in your marriage. Struggles will happen. There's ups and downs. You have mountains, you have valleys. However, it's important to be able to realize that you can actually work it through together. That it's okay to go through that, and not to think that because you're going through struggles or you're going through seasons where it can be difficult, that it's not going to get better. So you have to be able to change that mindset and realize that this is how we're going to grow and to be able to get through some of the struggles together. The last thing I'm going to mention is to stop waiting. Sometimes we think that if my spouse changes, then everything's going to be okay. If he or she didn't do that, then we wouldn't be in this situation. Stop looking at your spouse to change and really take a look at yourself. Because when you look at yourself, you can look at some of the areas that you're struggling, some of the areas that's creating some of the conflict and some of the issues that you're having. And then as you begin to explore and look on the inside, then change happens inside of you. So if you look at all of these different areas, it will help you to move from being unrealistic to really looking at your own mindset, and to look at how to be a little bit more realistic in your marriage, to be able to make it what it is that you want it to be. Thank you.
Wow.
That's some good stuff.
Thank you, Beverly.
Appreciate it, Beverly.
Hopefully you guys were able to jot down those 6 points. If not, after the video is done, after the live is done, you can go back and look at that. That was good.
Yes.
That was real good.
That was amazing.
And you can apply those 6 points definitely to your marriage. The one I really like is that your spouse can't read your mind. They cannot read your mind. Mm-hmm. So don't go angry all day without communicating to them, because they don't know. And that stuff does build up, and it goes on for a long time. And then after 30 years, it's like, oh, well, you still mad about something that happened 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's tough being a mind reader.
Man.
And that does break up relationships when you assume that you know that person, and come to find out they're a totally different person than what you imagined. And especially it's heartbreaking when you 15, 16 years in and you'd have missed all that time because you assumed that they were thinking something else.
Too much time. That's too much time.
Too much time. Yeah.
So let's talk about homework real quick, because we are done. Today's episode is almost finished.
Yes.
Homework.
So homework for
your challenge.
Yes, your challenge for tonight.
That you're going to do.
We're
going to do.
Yes, I'm going to do the homework this time, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So what are some unrealistic expectations that you put on your spouse either in the beginning of the marriage or even just think through now some unrealistic stuff that you're doing even now that is really incomprehensible to actually think that your spouse is supposed to do. I would just think about that, kind of just think about some unrealistic expectations.
Well, sit down and have a real talk. Have a serious conversation and make a list of stuff that you have thought that you think that your spouse should be doing for you.
Yeah. And then think about stuff that you expect and then they get mad about. And then really talk about them things, because normally they'd be like, well, how are you expecting all this stuff from me when I do this, and this? And normally, just really go back and really just talk about it. Communication is key.
And you'll see that some of the things are just unrealistic. But for next week, we do have an awesome show coming up. So don't forget to like us on Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Remember, be quick, because we're growing.
Yeah, we're growing.
We only can do a 1 million followers, so
yes.
You know what I'm saying, you may want to get there quick.
Put your comments in below. And next week, our big subject is, what does a perfect marriage look like?
I know. You know what I'm saying? Well, I know I'm the perfect husband.
I'm the perfect wife. Yeah. So, well, I have debatable. No flaws. There's nothing wrong with me.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right?
See? You see what I'm saying? See? That's what really happened in our house. You see all these hands and stuff on me?
Yeah. So that's our topic for next week. So meet us back here, same time, same place. Put in the comments. Make sure that you put that top rated answer in there when we post that question of the week.
Yes.
So that you can be next week's top rated
commenter.
You can be next week's top rated
commentee.
All right, we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have you heard that the enemy of your soul desires to take control and cause you to lose all faith in God?